Um, so I just wanted to. Okay, let's talk about something right quick. Oh, Madon, this is crazy. First of all, the level of spiritual ignorance in this country is astounding, but the level of just plain ignorance about the actual laws of the country is also astounding. And so I see all these people freaking out that abortion's going to be banned and all this stuff. So Roe versus Wade being overturned, the only thing that's going to accomplish, which I'm not trying to sound ungrateful, it's a great thing, but what it's going to accomplish is that it's going to be left up to the states to decide. So the people living on the left coast in the far communist north, you're going to be okay. You're still going to have your sacrament of abortion. Like, you're going to be fine. It's just going to be, the more conservative states that don't want this stuff, they're now going to be able to, if this gets overturned, to decide for themselves. But I want to talk about something because um, one of the biggest advocates for abortion is the what do they call themselves? The Satanic Temple, right? The STS, Satanic. I don't even know. They have an acronym. Oh, TST. There we go. The Satanic Temple. And so we have this idea in our heads that, well, I'm just going to read through it, and we're going to see how much in line the general public is with the tenets of the Satanic Temple. And so there's obviously a couple kinds of Satanisms. There's practicing Satanists like the Satanic Temple who won't admit that Satan is an actual deity. Now, whether they believe that at the highest levels or not, I do not know. But at least that's what they tell their members. They tell their members that to worship science. They tell their members it's just this, it's the rationalism that Satan is a superstition. There's no such thing as deities, blah, 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 blah. We worship Satan and we just want to do our will instead of the will of, a god or a supernatural force. And so that is in line with a majority of the West. That the secular West 100% is in line with the tenets of the Satanic Temple. And we're going to point that out. And then we're going to see why it goes hand in hand with abortion. So, even if things get outlawed, according to them, the satanic abortions are protected by religious liberty laws. So they made a ritual. They attached a ritual to abortion so that it can be protected. So all you have to do now to be able to reap the benefits of satanic religious freedom in order to have an abortion is to join Satan. I'm not joking. That's what they're teaching. So, in accordance with the Religious Freedom Restoration Act, RFRA, first trimester abortions are now exempt from unnecessary regulations for all individuals practicing the Satanic Temple's abortion ritual. The abortion ritual provides spiritual comfort and affirms bodily autonomy, self worth, and freedom from coercive forces with the affirmation of TST's 7 tenets. The ritual is not intended to convince a person to have an abortion. Instead, it sanctifies the abortion process by instilling confidence and protecting bodily rights when undergoing the safe and scientific procedure. So, all of this is a lie from start to finish. Sounds reasonable to somebody who doesn't know anything. But it's a lie. So this is a lie, spiritual comfort. Well, it doesn't. Not true spiritual comfort. It dulls your conscience, affirms bodily autonomy, which is a lie. You can't exist outside of what God allows. Self worth, it doesn't. Freedom from coercive forces. So obviously, on a spiritual level, that's all wrong, not getting into it. But here's what else I want to get into. This can be refuted off their own website. The ritual is not intended to convince a person to have an abortion. Really? Well, that's interesting. That's really interesting because here we go off another page from their website, thesatanictemple.com. They encourage people to stand outside pregnancy crisis centers, which are not abortion clinics. What they are is they give people other support options for having a child, for not aborting the child. And so they encourage volunteers to download their flyer and pass it out. That's what they encourage people to do. I'm sorry, that's not the right flyer. That was the. Facility does not provide abortion services. This facility's mission is to convince you to not have an abortion. For a list of facilities that do perform abortions, visit their website. Many fake clinics lie about the health and safety of abortion and provide other misleading information. So they don't want you to listen to them. Many fake clinics try to look like medical facilities, and they do not have to adhere to HIPAA. And so they act like a savior, but what they're trying to do is convince people to have an abortion. They say it themselves. The Satanic Temple has created flyers that disclose facts about crisis centers. The flyers are intended to be downloaded from our website so that volunteers can distribute them outside of the fake clinics to people who might not be aware of their mission. So there you have it. Lies. Okay, so the ritual sanctifies, what an interesting word, the abortion process by instilling confidence and protecting bodily rights. Whose bodily rights? Not the baby's bodily rights, that's for sure. When undergoing the safe and scientific procedure, and any simple Google search will show that this is also a lie. Safe and scientific. Safe part, especially, there's many long-term effects of abortion that I'm not getting into. There's risk associated with it, blah, blah, blah. So let's get into this. What protections does the satanic abortion ritual provide? They ensure Satanists have access to safe abortions that are free from unwarranted state interference. These are examples of requirements that cannot be enforced on Satanists. Mandatory waiting periods, the requirement that practitioners withhold certain medical information, compulsory counseling prior to abortion, required reading materials, medically unnecessary sonograms, mandatory listening to fetal heartbeats, compulsory. So basically, anything that would make you have a conscience, they try to get people away from. And then they tell you how to perform the ritual. And this is extraordinarily important to understand, especially this line right here. Couple lines. Prior to receiving any anesthetic or sedation. So they don't want you to be under the influence of medicine. And this is an important word because with possession, so Satan is very legalistic. Satan and the demons are legalistic. So in order for them to have the utmost rights over you, you have to, their chances of being able to, possess you or whatever, to influence you, increase greatly. They have more legal rights to you if you freely and soberly give yourself over to them. So that's why it's set up this way, to make it, without a doubt, so that there can be no, oh, well, I was under the influence of anesthetics or sedatives that made me do this ritual. So in the spiritual world, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. This person of their own free will did this ritual from the Satanic Temple. And so this is very important to understand because the spiritual world does work in laws. So they want you to be sober, look at your reflection, to be reminded of your personhood and your responsibility to yourself. Not your responsibility to God, your responsibility to yourself. Focus on your intent. Take deep breaths and make yourself comfortable. When you are ready, see the third tenet and the fifth tenet aloud, which is down here. One's body is inviolable, subject to one's own will alone. It's all about you in self worship. But it's not. It's Satan worship, disguised as self worship, which isn't any better, by the way. Beliefs should conform to one's best scientific understanding of the world. So not even like actual science, just whatever you believe the science to be. One should take care never to distort scientific facts to fit one's agenda, or one's beliefs, but it's completely like that doesn't even make sense. Like you can't have it both ways. And then the personal affirmation. And this is where the spiritual ignorance really comes into play. especially amongst those who aren't Catholic. So obviously, for us, it's all about the body, blood of Jesus, right, in the sacrament of the Eucharist. So for them, obviously, Satan has to invert that. So it has to be about your body, your blood, and your will, not the will of God. Not, Mary saying, I'm the handmaid of the Lord, let it be done unto me according to thy word. Not that. It has to be, or Jesus praying, teaching us how to pray. Your in the garden when he says, not my will, let I want this cup to pass for me, but not my will, your will be done, or the Our Father, anything like that. So it has to be the complete inversion because Satan hates God, so he inverts everything. So instead of giving true worship to God, he wants you to give true worship to self so that he has access to you. It's not because he likes you, it's because he wants to possess you and bring you to hell. And the easiest way to do that is to get you to worship yourself, because people are more likely to worship themselves than they are to worship a goat head. You know what I'm saying? So, but they're not hiding it. They're telling you what they're about. All right. So that's what you do. And then for medical abortions is the pill. You do pretty much the same thing, but they want you to do it obviously before you take the medication, because they don't want you to be under the influence, because Satan wants full access to you. So how is the ritual legally protected? As a federally recognized religion, and so that's the problem. Satan is this temple is a federally recognized religion. They use the RFRA and the Hobby Lobby precedent to protect its members from unnecessary abortion regulations. So they took a law that was intended to protect Christians and used it for themselves. And they're hailed as heroes in the comment section of their videos, by the way. So they get into the First Amendment. State laws governing abortions commonly serve no medical purpose and do not result in better health outcomes. Therefore, they unlawfully hinder access to the satanic abortion ritual. We have no plans or intents to sue a clinic for not respecting our rights unless they defy a court order demanding that they honor our exemption requests. We understand that clinics must adhere to the law and that they are in a difficult situation when laws conflict. Instead, we will challenge states that fail to enforce the RFRA laws and thereby exempt TST. So you can see how this is going to get out of control with these people protesting and doing their satanic rituals in the streets and storming churches and whatever else, because this is very important to them. So let's see what else we got here. It's so insane. Oh, you can be a satanic minister ordained by the Satanic Temple. Oh my goodness gracious. And so it's really crazy, guys. I mean, the level. The Satanic Children's Big Book of Activities. Oh, the other thing that I find hilarious, not hilarious, but oh, here we go. So they want to make sure they distinguish themselves between the Church of Satan. The Satanic Temple has become the primary religious satanic organization in the world, with congregations internationally and a number of high-profile public campaigns designed to preserve and advance secularism and individual liberties. There you go. The rise of the Satanic Temple has been met with an increase in commentary regarding what Satanism is, as media outlets struggle to grasp how this upstart religion has begun to shift liberty debates with claims of equal access. With unfortunate regularity, and much to our chagrin, the Satanic Temple is confused with an earlier organization, the Church of Satan, founded in the 60s. The Church of Satan expresses vehement opposition to the campaigns and activities of the Satanic Temple, asserting themselves as the only true arbiters of Satanism, while the Satanic Temple dismisses the Church of Satan as irrelevant and inactive. And so I suspect the Church of Satan actually worships the deity of Satan, and that's the problem. They can't even agree on how to get people to worship Satan. So anyway, I was trying to how loving you can support Ukraine. Very loving. I guess this is what I was looking for. They talk about protecting children. Yeah, Protect the Children Project, which is so fascinating to me because They're trying to kill children in the womb. So I'm not sure how that goes hand in hand. So they think the public schools are even too conservative. They want the public schools. So let's see. Protect Children Project addresses abuses that take. Oh, they don't want like punishment, like discipline in schools and like other weird stuff. So by asserting a religious claim consistent with our tenets, they can legally exempt themselves from egregious forms of mistreatment. They have an after-school club that promotes self-direction education by supporting the intellectual and creative interests of the students. The after school Satan clubs meet at select public schools where good news clubs also operate. Trained educators provide activities, and so their whole religion is just anti Christ. It's anti God, anti Christian. You can recover from addiction with them. Because again, they don't want you to be under the influence when you're doing these rituals. They want to promote pluralism and fighting for TSC's members' religious liberty. But they don't want Christianity to exist. They really don't want religious liberty. See what I mean? And then, of course, you can come over here and you can check out their gift shop. Like I said, you can get some cool books. You can get a book about modern satanic rituals. You can get a cookbook. Compassionate Satanism. You can, oh, they have collections. How nice. Collections of different merchandise. And then, of course, you can buy these trendy shirts to wear to your Antifa protests outside of DC. And so that's what it is. So yeah, so I just wanted to point that out how I'm glad it's at least out in the open. This is their big one right now. See, they're obsessed. They're obsessed with abortion. The Satanic Temple is taking action against any entity that impedes our members' reproductive rights. We need your help. So they're taking on abortion clinics to expose fake clinics, blah, 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 blah. They're suing Texas. They're suing the FDA. You can become a member for $66. What a number. I can't handle it. But Satan doesn't exist. They want you to know that Satan does not exist and we should be freed from superstition. But they have holy days. Honoring those who fell victim to superstition and pseudoscience, whether by witch hunt, satanic panic, or other injustices. Celebration of religious plurality and shedding archaic superstitions. Oh, Halloween. To celebrate indulgence and embrace the darkness. See, now Halloween, that's gonna be hard to say to get away from superstition with Halloween. They always tell on themselves. They tell you what they stand for. Oh man, celebration of being unconquered by superstition and consistent in the pursuit and sharing of knowledge. The cult of soul, sun worship, existed within Rome since its early days as a republic. And Invictus was a Epithet used for Jupiter, Mars, and Apollo. The festival celebrated these gods and may have also been used to celebrate the winter solstice. So, how are you going to worship these gods and say that you're freed from superstition? I can't handle it. Like, it just does not make any sense. These people are insane. But most of America and most of the West is 100% on board with their tenets, whether they know it or not. I'm going to end it here. Joan of Arc Media out.